Hello, hello. Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about: do you need self-respect to win a woman's heart? So, if you guys are guys, like if you are in a relationship and your girlfriend's walking all over you, there's a good chance that you're lacking boundaries. And not setting and enforcing healthy boundaries is a byproduct of lack of self-respect for yourself. And if you constantly feel like you have to bend over backwards in order to try to please her to make her happy, but yet she still finds ways to be upset, then this video is for you. And while you might think that self-respect or not having self-respect, or you don't need self-respect to win a woman's heart, it is important to have self-respect to maintain her love, not necessarily to attract her. So in today's live video, you will understand the different types. So let's get started. Now, the first one is the foundation. So let's talk about the foundation of self-respect. All right. So the foundation of a healthy relationship is, number one, you need to have self-respect. Self-respect is the foundation of all healthy relationships, where both partners have to have self-respect, and it creates an environment of mutual respect, emotional stability, emotional regulation, and the ability to have yourself set and enforce healthy boundaries. Now, as a guy, it builds attraction when you have self-respect for yourself. And the reason why is because the number one most attractive thing to any woman is a man's confidence, which stems from having self-respect. Men who are secure with who they are and knowing what they want are viewed as more dependable and more capable of providing and having a sense of safety and security in a relationship, especially for her. Women want to feel safe and comfortable in a relationship. She needs to trust you. And if you lack self-respect, people could walk all over you. She's not going to feel very safe around you to move forward in the relationship. She's going to be on edge a lot of times. A lot of guys say like, oh, she's acting like a bitch. What's up, 4K? You're gonna get a lot of mixed things from other people, from her, and so you want to be grounded as a guy. And a guy that is not grounded is going to cause a lot of problems in their relationship or in his relationship, because he's no longer the leader in the relationship. So you want to be that guy that's more dependable. What's up, Shears? So men who understand this will always have more dating options anyways. So, moving along, there's a positive impact on relationship dynamics when you have self-respect as your foundation in your relationship. So, self-respect helps you communicate your own thoughts, your own feelings, and needs that you have more effectively. So, you ever get into like a situation where you want to communicate with that person, but all they do is like you always end up in this. But you have to answer. Sure, shoot your question. So, have you been in a situation where you want to communicate certain things, but yet you always find yourself in a situation where you're yelling at each other back and forth? You're not really communicating with each other. You're just having this banter back and forth. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Excuse me. Hey. All right. Sorry. And when you guys are yelling and screaming, you're not exactly communicating. You're just trying to outspeak the other person. You're not really there to listen. I don't know too much about the political side, so I can't answer that question. So, anyways, in order to have a healthier relationship or a good relationship, having a good dynamic in the relationship, You need healthy communication. So self-respect helps you communicate, like I said, your thoughts, your feelings, and your needs more effectively. You learn to regulate your emotions a little bit better by communicating to her through a tone that this is what I stand for, this is what I believe in, and it's firm and it's non-combative, where you're not yelling, you're not screaming. This is like, look, this is what I need. And if you're not able to give me that, this relationship might not work out. And you're not necessarily threatening the relationship. You're just letting her know that these are your needs. And if it's not met, then it's kind of like, well, it's not going to work out. You're communicating to her that, hey, we might not be compatible. That's what it is. All right. So another one is setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. Setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. People with self-respect, they set and enforce healthy boundaries. Having this is crucial for a relationship because if she feels like she could walk all over you, she will. And where respect goes, love follows. Having emotional well-being, okay? Self-respect helps you strengthen your emotional resilience, allowing you to navigate the relationship through challenges without compromising your core values. So if she's constantly disrespecting you, whether you believe it or not, you're enabling certain behaviors from her. You're communicating that you're willing to tolerate disrespect, and you're allowing that. Whatever you tolerate, you invite more of. So if you're in this place and you don't want her to disrespect you, you have to have some self-respect to stand up for yourself, to say, hey, look, how you're communicating with me right now, it's not very loving. You're yelling, you're screaming, you're trying to talk all over me. That's not loving, and that's not how we communicate. And if this is going to continue to be like this, it might not work out. I'm just letting you know that right now. You're firm, you're not combative. You're letting her know this is what you stand for, and that's what it is. And last one is building a stronger bond. Now, with self-respect contributes to personal growth, to personal development, because you're allowing your authentic self to bond without putting on a mask. A lot of people that don't have a lot of self-respect, they, and I'm going to talk about that, with low self-esteem and stuff like that too, but it comes across as you're a people pleaser. You're willing to bend over backwards, and you're going to build resentment. And the reason why is because you're not really living authentically. You're not standing up for yourself. You're not communicating that, hey, this is not what I like. And you're not willing to walk away from certain situations. People that respect themselves and love themselves, they're not going to stand for a lot of those things. They're not going to tolerate disrespect. And so they're willing to communicate that. Now, with people that have self-respect, like I said, they build a stronger bond because they're putting on who they are. And most people could hide themselves for 90 days. And eventually, how they communicate, that's their character. Not a lot of people could hide themselves for that long. And so, the true color starts to reveal itself when you've been with someone and they get comfortable. And that's usually who they really are anyways. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Now, let's talk about low self-esteem. But before I do, I want to continue with this quote by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And it's a quote that says, "A man who lies to himself and believes his own lies becomes unable to recognize truth, either in himself or in anyone else. And he ends up losing respect for himself and for others. When he has no respect for anyone, he can no longer love. And in him, he yields to his impulses, indulges in the lowest form of pleasure, and behaves in the end like an animal satisfying his vices. And it all comes from lying to others and to yourself." And so basically what that quote is saying is they're not really living their authentic self. They're not true to who they are. They're not open about what their thoughts are. And so they hold it in. and it builds resentment. And, it spirals down, and it all stems from lying. And I'm not saying to lying to other people. That's part of it too, but it's lying to yourself and not being honest. And usually, like I said, people with low self-esteem, lack of self-respect, they are not people that that not enjoys, but they're not confrontational at all. And when I say confrontational, it doesn't mean that you have to be up in their face. I'm just saying that when you could confront certain things, it allows you to speak your truth. Hey, look, these are certain things that I'm not happy about, and I want to talk to you about it. And it's up to them on how they will react or respond to that. So you have zero control over what other people are going to react and respond. What you have control over is, look, these are things that I don't like, and I want to talk to you about it. How you deal with it is a whole different question. So, low self-esteem. Potential challenges with low self-esteem. And now, while having low self-esteem doesn't necessarily mean that you will never win her heart. It definitely have its own troubles building and maintaining that relationship or genuine relationship. So in other words, you could attract somebody by having this confidence, this outer shell. But if you're a person that's confident on the outside but insecure on the inside and needs certain validations so that you can feel good about yourself, you're always going to be at the mercy from other people. And so your happiness is now becomes this moving target, and you would never be satisfied with yourself because you're always going to be chasing something, and it's never stemming from within. And so the potential challenges with low self-esteem is that you're not going to build this genuine relationship with yourself. And so you can't give what you don't have. And if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, what makes you think that sharing that with another person is going to make them happy? Excuse me, Miso. Hold on. Let me get this cat up. Okay. All right. Sit. Just sit. Or go away. All right. Now, difficulties in expressing needs and boundaries, right? I talked about this a little bit earlier. So when you have low self-esteem, you're going to have some difficulties expressing your needs or your wants and having certain boundaries. People with low self-esteem, they will struggle to express their needs and boundaries, usually, like I said, leading to resentment. And this is how you create your own life, basically, because you're unwilling to speak up for yourself. You're unwilling to let other people know or communicate to another person like, hey, I'm afraid that if I were to bring this up to another person, they might respond or they might react and start yelling and screaming. And I don't want to be confrontational. So it's better to just stay quiet and let them be. What do you do for a living? I do this, and I also have another job on the side too as well. So seeking validation. Okay. Seeking validation. They might rely heavily on external validations from their partners and others around. Like I said, your happiness is now a moving target. You will always be at the mercy of others, whether it's your joy, the validation. You need that so that you can feel good about yourself. And that's not real. And those aren't real. So rely heavily on external validations, okay? Creating this unhealthy dependency on other people rather than yourself. This could also stem with low self-esteem. It could also create this type of insecurity and type of jealousy. Low self-esteem manifests itself with jealousy and controlling behaviors. Do you think a person that truly values themselves, that believes who they are because they put in the work, they're going to stand for anything less than what they believe in? They're not going to step down. So in other words, with jealousy and controlling behaviors, it's like if you really truly love somebody and you think you deserve that person, but that person is now behaving in ways that you kind of like, I don't really trust this person's loyalty. I don't know what this person is like because they're showing me ways that this person is showing me that there's some values that might go against what I align with. Maybe she's a little bit promiscuous. She goes out late at night and things like that. How can we increase self-esteem? That's a very, very good question. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So if you just want to hang tight, I'm just going to go through this and then I'll talk about it. All right. So low self-esteem, jealousy, controlling behaviors. A lot of people that are insecure with themselves, they get angry. And the reason why they get angry is because behind anger is always fear. People that yell and scream, it's because they don't get what they want. And if they didn't get what they want, it's because they're fearful of something, right? And so they feel like they need to control something, control a person. Oh, you can't go out with guys. You know, if you go out late at night, like you're allowed to have friends, but you can't have any guy friends. It's like, okay, then you're not really allowing me anything, right? And so it's like they have a very specific controlling behavior that kind of it creates a very unsafe and not very free type of environment in a relationship. Because in a happy, healthy, secure relationship, they're allowed to do whatever they like, but they know that they're not going to go outside and do things that will ruin the chances of messing up that relationship. Because they know, they'll be like, I love my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever, and I'm not going to do these type of things because it would jeopardize our relationship, and they know that, so they're not going to do that. People that are secure with themselves, they know what they want, they go after what they want. Okay, so now with insecurity and jealousy, it could potentially create a lot of distrust in a relationship. Imagine being in a relationship where you're always constantly being accused of cheating or being cheated on because of their own insecurities. It's like, look, that's not your job to fix them. If they're insecure, that's on them. However that they were brought up, because they don't trust people, it's not on you, it's on them. So it's not your job to fix that person. Negative self-perception, right? They may focus on the shortcomings of their struggles, and they struggle to see the value in the relationship. And they have this negative self-perception of like, things always happen to me. They're always playing the victim. Ain't nobody want to be around somebody that always sounds like they need to feel bad for themselves. It's like, well, if you feel bad for yourself, go do something about it. If you're broke, go outside, go get a job, figure it out, right? So now you can never really fully win a woman's heart if you lack self-respect. And just because you're in a relationship right now, it doesn't mean you're in a good one. And I'm not saying that it's about the other person. It might be you. It might be both people, both parties. It doesn't mean that you're in a good one. It all comes from you first. Having a sense of self-worth is beneficial, not only for yourself, but also for other people around you. Like I said, you can't give what you don't have. So you don't have to live your life in fear or have others fear you just to have what you want. You just have to learn not to take shit from other people and not lose your shit when things don't go your way. Ultimately, mutual respect, open communication, trust, healthy boundaries are all linked to self-respect. And you're unable to have a healthy relationship without it. And a relationship is never a one-person thing. It takes two to work on themselves. You're not there to share each other. You're not there to complete each other. That's the misconception that a lot of people think. It's like, oh, you complete me. I mean, it sounds nice, but that's a recipe for codependency. That's not what you want. You're there to share each other's completeness, meaning that I'll take care of me for you and you will take care of you for me. And that is how a healthy relationship will flourish, when they take care of themselves. So I don't need you to take care of me. I would like to share my completeness with you. Is it Gotham? If you're still here, let me know. I could move on to a different slide if you want. Now, let's talk about walking away and never looking back, because these are more applicable things to people. All right, perfect. Okay, then let's talk about how to have more self-respect. How to have more self-respect. One sec. To have more self-respect, you must focus on understanding yourself and accepting yourself for who you are. It means being aware. This means that you have to set and enforce healthy boundaries. You got to take care of yourself. So what does it mean to set and enforce healthy boundaries, Gautam? What does that sound like to you? All right. Now, more importantly, you have to prioritize your needs first and making your choices that aligns with your values. So, do you even know your core values? What are some of your values? Some values that other people might value is loyalty, trust, right? Being in a relationship means that if we are in a relationship, it means that we're exclusive, that you're not going to go outside and talk to other people like you're single, right? It means that I could trust you when you go outside because I trust myself when I go outside too. Now, if you're a person and you take care of yourself, naturally, you're just going to have a lot more people that will want you. It doesn't mean that you're going to fall into those traps of losing yourself. You're not going to be a liability in your relationship and just be like, wow, there's that new shiny toy. Let me go after that. Because you already know what you have. So what do you value in a relationship? Understanding that, hey, does this person, another core value is like, does this person have integrity? Do you mean what you say and say what you mean? A lot of people, now it just starts from something so simple, okay? I'm gonna give you an example. I noticed that my business has gotten a lot better, and it all stemmed from just one thing, and it was because back then when I used to go to work, I only go into work on time, meaning like I have 2-3 minutes to spare. But now I don't go in just to work. I go early to make sure that everything's set up. Why? Because I'm like, look, if I'm telling you that I will be there at 6 o'clock, but then I show up at 6:05, what does that communicate to the other person? If you're selling a service, right? What do you think that communicates to another person? It communicates that you don't value their time. You don't take yourself seriously, because time is one commodity that you will never get back. And if you waste someone else's time, it means that you don't, in some way, shape, or form, you're saying that I don't value you because I don't value your time just by showing a few minutes late. So a person with integrity says what they mean and means what they say. If I tell you that I'm going to see you at a certain time, I'm going to show up a little bit earlier just for you. Why? Because it's important to me, because this is what I enjoy. A lot of people go into like jobs they don't like, stay in relationships that they feel like they're settling in, and they resent the other person. Like I said, just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you're in a good one. And so you have to be honest with yourself. What are things that align with your goals and values? You have to prioritize that. Setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. If you are in a relationship, are you setting and enforcing healthy boundaries? Are you letting them know, like, hey, you know what? This type of behavior is not communicating that you're completely loyal. Like, these certain behaviors shows me that you still would like to be single, or you want to explore your options. And if that's what you want, go ahead. But don't tag me along for this, because that's not what I signed up for, right? So being able to speak up to that is very important. So you have to understand that prioritizing your core values, okay, or things that align with your values. And if you made a mistake in the past and then you regret it, forgive yourself and move past it. Move past that mistake, because everybody makes mistakes. I made millions, and I'm still continuing to make a lot of mistakes, but I try to limit those. I try to limit my mistakes. And everyone makes mistakes, but it's your choice if you want to live in it or learn from it. A lot of people like to dwell in it and to be like, oh, this is what happened to me in the past. This is who I am. I can't move past that. I'm fat anyways. I can't lose weight. I don't know how to exercise. I don't know how to. It's like they live in this very victim mindset. And misery loves company. And so that's why if you see a lot of people that likes to link up and talk about how bad they had it, misery loves company. They love talking about how bad they had it. And then you are who you are aligning with. So the type of people that you communicate with, be careful who you're communicating with, because that's basically what you're going to be pouring into your mind most of the time. All right. So what I am saying is misery, it tends to be our first teacher, because it sucks to make a mistake and you're like, damn, I made a mistake. It's not good it doesn't feel good. Okay. Misery tends to be our first teacher. Just don't let it be your last. Don't let it be your last. All right. And you have to realize that you made those mistakes and you just got to learn to move on with it. Most people have too much pride. They have too much ego to let go. They can't let go of that ego, and it stops them from progressing. And I see people making the same mistakes over and over. And it's because they don't have any type of self-control. Whether it's from how they take care of themselves physically, like their body, they don't, they lack discipline. And Jocko Willink said it the best. Discipline equals freedom. If you have a certain discipline, a certain ritual that you have for yourself, you're not going to deviate from that. So in a discipline would be like eating well, taking care of your body, sleeping right, going to the gym regularly, moving, keeping your body healthy. That's one thing, right? And that's what people see first. And then there's another one where you got to start taking care of yourself. Are you doing the things that you enjoy doing? Or are you just going to a job that you don't like just because it pays the bill? Or you're like I said, you're in a relationship with someone that you're not really fully happy with and you don't know why. And you're trying to find answers. It's really hard to find answers yourself, okay? Unless you read a lot and then you start. I'm not saying that you can't do it alone. I'm just saying that it would be a lot. It speeds up time 10 times if you could have someone from the outside in looking in that knows what they're doing, that could spot a problem. You think being in a loyal relationship limits risk-taking capacities in, say, business by the fear of losing the person. Let me read that again. You think being in a loyal relationship limits risk-taking capacities in, say, business by the fear of losing the person. Well, I'm not exactly sure what kind of business you're talking about, but you have to understand that what I'm communicating to you, what I'm trying to say to you is that this is the person of who you are. And so right now, while I'm speaking to you, I'm not saying things as like these are tips and tricks that you could do. I mean, you could take it as that, but this is more of a philosophy. This is who you are. This is your character, and your character is destiny. So if your character is who you are and you're like, look, you're unwilling to change, this is who I am, and I'm going to stick with that. That's who you are. Now, apply that with a next person, right? If this is the person that you want to be with, and that person's like, look, I've cheated on my exes, and this is how they are. Do you think that because you're going to be with them that they're going to change their mind? You might feel like you're special, but in reality, most people get it mixed up. You're not that special. Once things kind of go down and the excitement level kind of goes down a little bit, what makes you think they're not going to do the same thing to you? So you got to really judge that. You really have to vet who you're going to be by your side, especially if that's the person that's going to be by your side for the rest of your life. Assuming that, that's what most people get in a relationship for, right? Unless you want to have fun, go have fun. Go do your thing. Like, by all means, have fun with it. Now, in terms of like risk-taking capacities, it's like, well, what do you have? What are you exactly saying when you're saying like risk-taking capacities? Because I'm not sure. Give me an example so I could get a better idea. Food for the cat. All right. Where was I? So yeah, realize your mistakes, move on with it. A lot of people have too much pride and too much ego. It stops them from progressing, right? You see people make the same mistakes all because of lack of self-control and lack of discipline. My thing to you is, if you don't know, humble yourself or you will be humbled. Ask yourself, ask for, like, look, I don't know certain things. I ask for help. I don't know everything. I need help. So if you're not sure, go ask for help. And you want to be around a group of friends, a group of people that won't judge you for not knowing certain things, because you're like, hey, you know what? I want to learn. And you want to be around people that are slightly smarter than you too, because then they could teach you. And people love to help those that's willing to help themselves. People love helping people that's willing to help themselves. And okay. Walk away and never look back. That was the other slide that I was going to be talking about. And this is what self-respect, okay? So you can't give what you don't have. If you lack self-respect, you might be able to convince someone to be in a relationship with you, but maintaining that relationship is a different story, okay? You have to remember that men and women operate differently. If a woman doesn't respect you, you're always going to be feeling like you're in that relationship playing catch up the whole time. You're playing catching up with her instead of being a leader. And that's not what leaders do. They don't play catch up all the time. Like, hey, are you happy now? Like, leaders lead and they allow her to be like, yeah, I trust this guy. Let me go follow his lead because I trust him. It's because of the person that you have become. It's because you worked on yourself to become the leader so that she could trust you. A lot of people play it differently. Like, okay, like you have to settle down with the person and start a family, which limits taking risks in business and switching jobs. So my question to you is, with that is, people, some people want to have families and settle down, and some people are like, look, I want a business, and if I'm in a relationship right now, it might hold me back a little bit. And it really depends on you, on how you want to deal with it. And so if you're in a position where you're like, I don't want to be in a relationship right now because, I want to go out and explore, I want to go have some fun, then I don't think being in a relationship will be the best thing for you. So in other words, you have to know what you want. And if you're not sure, you got to explore it a little bit. But don't waste people's time, in other words, right? So if you want to be a bit of a more risk taker, I don't think starting a family is a good thing. Unless you have a lot of capital. Thank you for the support. Oh, what's up, Rocco? So, you got a girl? Nice. What type of advice did you take? What was the thing that stood out to you the most? Now that you're in a relationship, really important to learn how to maintain it. And I'm going to talk about this. So Rocco, if you got some time, all right? So you can't give what you don't have. Lack of self-respect. You might, like I said, you might be able to convince her to be in a relationship with you because, maybe you got some charisma, People can hide that. But having true inner security, not insecurity, but security for yourself, feeling secure, knowing what you want, going after what you want, it's really important. If a woman does not respect you, she cannot love you. Hands down. She's not going to love you. She might be in a relationship. It doesn't mean she loves you. I know a lot of couples that are in a relationship that don't do anything. They're like roommates. They tolerate each other. They're like, you know what? Getting into another relationship is too much trouble. I might as well just deal with what I got. But most people don't go for what they want. They're comfortable and they're like, I'll settle with this. That's cool. So one of the worst things that you can do to try to win her over is to go out of your way to try to please her. Try to please someone that's already given up on you. You're looking for someone in a relationship that's willing to jump fences for you, not stay on the fence. Me and my girlfriend have a good relationship. We are on vacation. Oh, nice. Where you guys headed to? Oh, where you guys at? Okay. Walk away and never look back. That is the greatest negotiating position that you could ever have. And meaning it. When you walk away and never look back, you have to mean it. You can't just be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be in this relationship. Like, you can't just joke about not being in a relationship knowing that you really want to be in that relationship. You have to have some self-respect of knowing what you want. And if that person cannot provide that for you, you have to be able to walk away from it. So if that person is disrespecting you and you don't like that, you got to let them know. And if it continues, you're going to be like, hey, I got to call it off. Oh, nice. Have fun in Hawaii. Which island? And that's just tolerating certain things, right? You don't want to be you don't want to be someone that needs to tolerate someone's nasty behavior in a relationship, especially if they don't make your life easygoing and easy to get along with. Because life is already hard enough. Some people like it. I don't want it. But some people want drama, because that's what they live off of. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want that much drama, because drama clouds my mind, and it takes up too much of mental space that it doesn't allow me time to spend time on the things that I want to enjoy. An example is some drama that came up yesterday, and I came back home from work and I was like, yeah, I can't wait to start doing some things. Life happens, but I'm like, this is unnecessary drama. It's a difference if it's like, damn, something just came up unexpectedly, but it's unexpected drama. And I was like, unnecessary drama. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, all because of someone that doesn't know how to control their emotions. And I was like, well, you know what? I have to deal with it. It kind of sucks, but it clouds your mental judgment a little bit. And it takes away time. Like I said, time is the number one commodity that you can never get back. And it's like, it just takes it up. It took up my time, and I had to spend time on it. And I was like, look, by the time I was done with it, I was already tired. And I was like, well, I got to wait for the next day, or at least I have to like rest a little bit so that I can regain some energy. So, yeah. Anyways, walk away and never look back. Greatest negotiating position, right? And you have to understand this, guys, too, especially guys. If it is her job to get you back, if she is the one that broke up with you, if you broke up with somebody and you're like, I don't want you back anymore, I don't want you anymore, it's because of the blah, blah, blah behavior. You have to stand firm on that. Like, these are decisions that you have to make and not just bounce back and forth. So, like I said, if she's the one that broke up with you, she has to be the one that gets you back. Because, like I said, a relationship takes two. And if one bounces, if she chooses unilaterally to leave that relationship, I no longer care about you enough to stay up in this relationship, and she wants to leave, you have to let her go. Don't bluff it. Just be like, look, I love you. I care about you. But if you don't want to be in this relationship and work at it with me, then yeah, okay, then you could go. We could break up. But by no means, and you have to stand firm on this, all right? If you want a romantic relationship with this person and she doesn't want it with you, you have to let her know. You'd be like, look, if you want to leave, you can. I'm not forcing you to stay. But don't ever contact me unless you want something romantic. It tells her, it communicates to her. I mean, you're telling her straight up. It communicates to her, look, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be platonic friendships where I could do everything else for you but not have, sex and romance. So you have to let her know. You'd be like, that's not what I want. So if she does ever communicate back to you or call you or text you, she will automatically know, like, hey, I'm reaching back out to this person because she wants more. Then go hang out and have fun. That's it. A lot of guys, they get stuck in this situation where they feel like, oh, she broke up with me, but then she still wants to be friends, and at least if I stay her friend, I could still have her. It's like, no, you don't have her. You're just kind of like supporting her so that she can meet someone better than you. That's not called having self-respect. Walk away and mean it and be like, look, go ahead, go explore your options, have fun. It means that you could go have fun. All right. Now, begging and pleading only enables that type of behavior. If if she's the one that broke up with you and you're like, no, please don't leave me, it's very, very weak behavior. It will only enforce her decision even more. Getting pissed off, perturbed by it, being bothered by it will only reinforce her decision even more. Like, damn, thank God I left that guy because he's weak. She doesn't want a weak man. No woman wants a weak man. She wants a man that can stand his ground. So think about it like this. If all she had to do was walk away from you and get you all emotionally stirred up, don't you think that she will continue that type of behavior and do it more until she completely loses respect from you and then leaves you? And another problem with most guys nowadays, and it's been a problem for a very long time, is problem with most guys is that they try to force too many things to happen. When it's clear she has moved on. And I get guys that come to me like, oh, I really miss her, I really like her. I get it, I know you do, but no amount of you liking her or how much you love her or how much you care about her will get her back unless she feels that way about you. I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's the truth. That's called projection, okay? It's kind of like a guy that goes out on a date with a girl and be like, damn, I had a great time. I had a great date with this person. And it's like, well, you were talking most of the time and you didn't really get to know her. So in reality, you thought you had a good time. But she was like, damn, when is this person going to stop talking? So that's why you can always judge a person based off their actions. If she's willing to meet you out and do things with you, match her by her actions. Bottom line, her actions. So what is she willing to do? Okay? Or is she kind of wishy-washy? You want someone that's easygoing, easy to get along with. Someone that's willing to jump fences. Someone that's excited to see you. Not be like, oh, you know what? I don't have anything better to do. Let me just go out with this person then, right? So by walking away and meaning it, it shows that you have value. It shows that you value yourself. And you can let her know. You can let her know, right? By walking away and meaning it. That's the end of the show, guys. If you guys do have any questions, I don't mind staying in an extra minute. Press 1 if you have any questions, and so I can wait. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the show, and I will do this again next Saturday, and I'll have a different topic as well. So I'll stay for another minute if you guys have any questions. Right now is a good time to ask. Let me see if there's anything that I missed earlier. All right. Well, it seems like there is no more questions, and I think that's it. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode next Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Have a good weekend. See you.